and definitely the choice of the internet crowd, I guess you'd say, and that was Robert Roode. So the plan was that Robert Roode was going to main event Bound for Glory with Kurt Angle, and there he was going to win the TNA World Championship for the first time. But something happened along the way. So probably that day, maybe the day before. You see different things on the dirt sheets, but unless we were there in the exact conversations, we really don't know. But they had done so much to make it look like it was Robert Roode's time that that was the original plan. It had to be. Because you wouldn't put all that effort behind a guy just to have him lose. That's stupid. Now, TNA's done some stupid things, but I don't even know if they're that stupid. So, my opinion, Hogan had said some things early in the week about being concerned about whether or not Robert Roode was truly over enough to be the top guy. Saying that maybe Jeff Hardy is that guy. Or talking about James Storm maybe being better on promos and having more of that overall package. And there is something to what Hogan said. I don't think he should have said it, and I think it was incredibly dumb, stupid timing for when he said it. You don't say that shit, Hulkster, right before Bound for Glory. That's dumb. You're throwing Robert Roode one half of your fucking main event for your biggest pay-per-view of the year. You're completely throwing him under the fucking bus. So I personally believe, my opinion only, that Bruce Pritchard and Hulk Hogan kind of pulled the 11th hour nix on the Robert Roode title change. And they said, well, let's have Kurt Angle win it, but have it in a screwed up fashion where it makes it look like Robert Roode should have won. And there's some appeal to a guy trying and failing before ultimately succeeding. I mean, I am a Michael Jordan and Chicago Bulls fan, for example. Part of the appeal of Jordan when he finally became a champion was that he couldn't get past the Pistons. He had to go over and over and over again, and then he finally succeeded, and everybody appreciated it. There's something to that. So they decided to have Kurt Angle hold on to the strap. Now, this is where it gets kind of interesting. You have Hogan and Bischoff. I think they were surprised that they got that much outrage from the IWC and YWC about Roode not winning the belt. Well, you put it main event. Everything you did indicated that Roode would win the belt. So don't be surprised when there's backlash. And then you get them talking about there's a bigger story. Remember earlier this year when WWE and their sheep were telling us that there was a bigger story with Christian and Randy Orton after Christian lost the belt after 2 days to Randy Orton? How'd that work out? It's easy to say that. That's like the chicken shit defense. That doesn't mean anything to me. Prove it. Well, then you get to TNA tonight. This one being taped earlier this week. So Robert Roode, you're telling me, had to go through a 15-20 minute match. Kurt Angle had to hold on to the ropes. A former Olympic gold medalist, by the way, and cheat to win that way. But James Storm gets a couple punches from an injured Kurt Angle, clearly because his fucking leg was wrapped, and he wins the TNA World Championship in like a minute or a minute and a half by super kicking the hell out of Angle. So you're basically telling me Roode had to go out and work a full match, couldn't get the job done, and Storm could go out there and do it almost immediately, making Roode look completely weak to me. When you've got... See, here's the thing. You've got Bischoff coming out, mocking the marks, and mocking the smarks, and blah, blah, blah. When did it become such a crime to become a critic? Now, from what I know, when new movies come out, people like Ebert and Roper and other movie critics, the movie studios, the actors, actually do give a shit about the reviews. There are a lot of people that may go to the movies that don't watch the reviews or don't read the reviews, but these studios, the directors, the actors, they do care. No matter what they say, they do care. They don't want their movie to get panned by a critic because they know a lot of people do pay attention to that shit. So it's okay to be a critic of something like movies, or when you go to a restaurant, you might not know how to make a great, let's say, a fucking souffle. but you know what a good one should taste like. And you know that the one you're eating tastes like shit. Just because you can't make it yourself, does that mean you can't judge it? No! Stupid to even suggest it. So for Bischoff and Hogan to be taunting Marks and taunting their audience, a portion of it, yes, a very loud vocal portion, a small portion, but a portion of your audience nonetheless. I have always felt it is better business not to piss off any of your customer base. Personally, what? You piss them off and it's okay just because it can come back? That's not how you create a loyal customer base. And for Bischoff and Hogan, there's only one thing that we could argue that is more pathetic and more loserish than coming on here and doing reviews and videos and shows about wrestling. Okay, you want to call me a loser for doing it? Fine. But what does that make you, Eric Bischoff? What does that make you? You persist to taunt people just like me for doing something like this. You're in a position where something I say shouldn't even matter, but yet obviously it does. You think it's funny, you choose to mock us, blah, blah, blah. Who's the loser? Seriously. And to insist that there was some grand master plan. Well, if there was some grand master plan, why not have James Storm come out and interfere at Bound for Glory? That tells you right there that they're full of shit. Eric Bischoff, Hulk Hogan, you are full of shit. You did not have a master plan, and you goddamn good and well know it. And especially once you realize that Kurt Angle came up limp at the fucking pay-per-view, you panicked and said, holy shit. And then you got Dixie Carter sitting there saying, oh, I'm only worried about ratings. Gotta please Spike TV. So we gotta throw a title match on there that's unadvertised, and we have to have a random fucking belt change again. Isn't this the same shit that hurt WCW, made that belt mean nothing? Think about when Goldberg won the belt from Hogan in the Georgia Dome. You advertised it on Thunder, Bischoff. You announced it on Thunder. Had like 3-4 days to advertise it. You drew 40,000 people. You gave it away for free. Imagine the pay-per-view buy rate that you would have gotten if you'd have done the wise thing and put the son of a bitch on a pay-per-view. And not to mention the extra time. You would have been able to get 90,000 people into the fucking Georgia Dome probably. But that's always the fundamental flaw with Eric Bischoff, is he's a TV guy. He's all about TV. And that is an important portion of your business, make no mistake about it. But that's not all there is. You want to understand why Vince McMahon and his company, even when they're in downtimes, make some form of money? It's because he sees bigger picture, Eric. A bigger picture that you fail to see. It's about ratings, getting those advertising dollars, and it's about pay-per-view buys. It's about putting asses in the seats. It's not all about one thing. And for you to allow Dixie Carter, and you know this is what happened, really. Dixie Carter said she panicked because of the outrage from the smart marks like myself and others. So she said, you've got to do something, Rick. You do something. And this is what they came up with. To have James Storm win the world title in an unadvertised, unhyped up to match right after your pay-per-view, therefore completely negating the Bound for Glory series. It's just like WWE's Royal Rumble. The past 4 Royal Rumble winners haven't went on to win the belt. So quite frankly, why should us as fans even give a shit about the Royal Rumble anymore? It's a pay-per-view with no payoff down the road. Well, now the BFG series, I said there, your first time you ever did it, you had Robert Roode win the series. He didn't win the belt Bound for Glory, so what's the whole point? And you could say, well, this could lead to James Storm and Robert Roode, and I'm sure it's going to. But if you were going to do that, there were much better ways to do it. And if TNA and Bischoff and Hogan and Pritchard and Dixie Carter had a long-term vision and plan for their company's creative direction, that's exactly what we would have gotten, is a more well-constructed, well-thought-out storyline. Instead, now we've got James Storm winning the belt and Robert Roode's happy for him. Man, I'd be insanely fucking jealous. Would anybody else out there be insanely fucking jealous? If I got screwed in my one opportunity and my best friend Went out there, got an opportunity, and he did it that much quicker than I did. And now he's the man? That was supposed to be my spot. It's ridiculous. It doesn't take much to draw money in the wrestling business. It really doesn't, even in this day and age. But it takes something that everybody can understand and believe in. What are you going to do now, TNA? You're going to put Storm and Rudy together as like best friends, and I got to see, I deserve a title shot. Or Storm's going to say to Rude, you deserve a title shot. You get the first shot. While I'm happy that TNA is doing something different with their main event picture, to sit there and come out and blast us internet fans because we're calling you out, Bischoff, Hogan, on your bullshit. And let me tell you something. I have engaged in conversations with several different people over the past few days that are in the wrestling business. You gonna fucking call them smart marks too? That couldn't believe it. They said this was one of the stupidest things they've ever seen. It just goes to show how much of a failure TNA is, and that they have no long-term plan or vision for their company for 2, 3, 5 years down the road. And it's a shame too, because it really takes away from James Storm and what could have been a great moment from him. If you wanted to do this, TNA, and if you really did have a long-term plan and vision, wouldn't you have fucking done this match? Oh, I don't know, maybe a turning point next month. At least make a positive out of a negative and get a little bit of a bigger pay-per-view buy out of it. But you just couldn't do that. You panicked, and you did exactly what you did with WCW in its dying days and made it all about ratings, ratings, ratings. And how did that work out? Eric Bischoff, you're full of shit. Hulk Hogan, you are a jackass. I have respect for you guys, but I'm tired of when people like you, who are in a position where they should know better and shouldn't have to lower themselves to my level, come and attack me when they know they're fucking lying, and you know you are. Then that's when the Schleg Daddy gets a little pissed off. I'll throw out the gauntlet again. You want to debate me, Eric Bischoff? You want to debate me, Hulk Hogan? I don't care. I'll welcome the challenge. You sell me on how the hell this was any type of vision or long-range plan. Because you know you're full of shit. So those of you out there that watch this, if you follow Bischoff, if you follow Hogan on Twitter, please send this to him. I'd love to have that debate with them anytime, any place. I am the Schleg Daddy from the Off the Rope Show. Since 2010, we've been entertaining ourselves while you watch us. Congratulations to James Storm. He does deserve it. And all this other stuff, I don't want to take away from the fact that James Storm, the Cowboy, is your new TNA World Champion. Sorry about your damn luck, Robert Roode.
Yeah, man. Hope y'all liked the video. This is gonna be all over YouTube right now. Watch this.